Look at me, I'm
The Texans and new general manager Brian Gaine have a tricky offseason ahead of them. It starts with NFL free agency, for which the team has some money available to spend. Only 5 teams have more salary cap room than the Texans, $67 million plus, per overthecap.com. The Texans are up to 8 draft picks for April, as they were awarded 3 compensatory selections. But because of 2 trades with the Browns, they need to wait until the 3rd round to make the first pick. The good news: unlike many teams with bunches of cap space, the Texans don't have many spots that must be addressed with veteran free agents. NFL free agency, top 25 players best by position. Houston finally has solved quarterback with Deshaun Watson. J.J. Watt and Jade Von Clowney maintain the team's edge foundation on defense. Assuming Watson and Watt return healthy from the season-ending injuries, it's more about adding depth to the primary offensive skill positions and front 7. That should allow the Texans to narrow their open market focus on the most glaring weaknesses and wait for the rest in the draft. Look for Gaine to focus most on the following 3 positions with a chance for a splurge or 2. Offensive line. Where to begin? Houston's entire line was inept last season, and left tackle Dwayne Brown moving on to Seattle didn't help. Now tackles Chris Clark and Breno Giacomini are free agents, as well as starting left guard Xavier Su'a-Filo. The Texans will hope center Nick Martin bounces back in his 3rd season and right guard Jeff Allen isn't forced to move outside again, but right tackle Derek Newton faces an uncertain future because of multiple patella injuries. Houston can figure out one half of the tackle equation in free agency. Of the 2 best Patriots available for Coach Bill O'Brien, left tackle Nate Solder makes sense over right tackle Cameron Fleming. The Texans then can go for insurance at Newton's position in the draft. There are plenty of options for the Texans to upgrade guard, starting with the Panthers' Andrew Norwell and the Titans' Josh Kline, a former Patriot. The combination of Solder and Kline would be a massive improvement from Clark and Su'a-Filo on the left side. And it's doable. Defensive back DeAndre Hopkins is the Texans' best offensive player, but there is no word on whether Gaine would give the wide receiver the title of honorary assistant GM should the Texans land cornerback Malcolm Butler. Hopkins recruited Butler on Instagram after the latter was benched in Super Bowl 52. Houston has a clear need for a solid starter at corner. Butler would make sense given the Texans' connections to the Patriots in O'Brien and Romeo Crennel, who is back as defensive coordinator. The Redskins' Bashard Breeland also should be drawing some interest. NFL free agency, 5 best fits for Malcolm Butler. Jonathan Joseph may be retained as a free agent for his age 34 season, but even coming off a down year, he was by far the best of a shaky cornerback group. Kareem Jackson and Kevin Johnson struggled in coverage. Marcus Williams, like Joseph, is unsigned for 2018. Jackson is entering his final contract year, while the club has an option on Johnson for 2019. The Texans also need a safety, as both Marcus Gilchrist and Eddie Pleasant are entering free agency. With LaMarcus Joyner franchise tagged by the Rams, the best available player there is the Cardinals' Tyron Branch. The Seahawks' Bradley McDougald had a strong, versatile season and would be a fine signing, too. Tight end both C.J. Fiedorowicz and Ryan Griffin are coming off seasons with serious concussion concerns. Steven Anderson flashed some of his receiving skills, but he's still a raw player going into his 3rd season. The Texans need to think about an immediate impact target here for Watson to play better off the deep shots to Hopkins and Will Fuller outside. Hopkins made his Butler-like suggestion with the Seahawks' Jimmy Graham. Given Graham is 31 and was limited to doing most of his damage in the red zone, 10 TDs last season, he would be more of a short-term fix. The Eagles' Trey Burton, a skilled receiving backup and author of the Philly Special, represents the best long-term pickup. The Bengals' Tyler Eifert would be the medium-risk, high-reward option. If Eifert can shake his injury woes, he would be perfect to pair with Watson in scoring position. The Jets' Austin Seferian Jenkins has flashed enough for one to think he can thrive on his 3rd team. With enough concerns and enough options, the Texans need to dive into this position pool, even if Graham quickly finds a different NFL home. Health is the first thing Houston needs in order to have a shot at the playoffs this season. The next thing is better support for their franchise faces, Watson and Watt. Gaine is in position to gain momentum for Executive of the Year by writing a few worthy checks in free agency.